Never afraid to make the unorthodox move, Oakland A's general manager Billy Beane saw an opportunity and pounced. After 2 straight seasons of watching his starting pitching barely fall short in the ALDS, Beane wanted to blow away the field, so he ended up trading for not 1, not 2, but 3 starting pitchers by the trade deadline. Jeff, Jason, and finally John. All set, right? Wrong. I'll look back now at the A's season.
Some have the A's going to the World Series. Others have them not even winning the division.
They operate either all in or all out. Right now, they are all in.
That baby's gone. Coco Crisp. The A's scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th inning.
What a gem thrown by Sonny Gray. His first complete game shutout.
Drill deep right, and the A's have walked off the Nationals.
The throw to the plate is there, and they got it. Are you kidding me?
The Oakland A's, best record in baseball, pulling the trigger on a massive deal, acquiring both Jeff Samardzija and Jason Hammel.
I didn't see this one coming. Lester and Gomes to the Oakland Athletics for Cespedes.
Lester is a difference maker.
Pretty good rotation there with Samardzija, Gray, Casimir, now John Lester.
The struggling Athletics lost 6 out of their last 7.
Last 3 games here are the worst I've seen this team play, and I can't remember how long. They all should be embarrassed.
The A's, it has been just a disaster since the deal. The A's have been swept in what has turned out to be a lost weekend in Southern California.
That trade for Lester made them a better postseason team, not a better regular season team.
And the A's lose another tough one in a string of tough ones.
We've had quite a few low points here recently, but I don't know any more so than this.
Game number 162. The A's magic number at 1. They win, and they're in.
Reddick is in there with an RBI triple.
He squeezes it, and the A's have won it. And man, it wasn't easy. But the 2014 Oakland A's got the job done.
We're in a position where anything can happen.
Moss at the plate. We're in the 6th inning. They're trailing 3-2. Swung on it, hit the deep center field. Kane going back, still going back, turning around. He will watch, and Moss has done it again. The A's were leading 7-3 in the 8th inning. They had the lead by 1 run going to the bottom of the 9th. They were leading by a run going to the bottom of the 12th today.
2-2. It's the slider pulled to third. Diving is Donaldson. He can't get it.
Inexplicable, brutal, terribly frustrating, hard to swallow loss. In many respects, it's the A's second half in microcosm today.
Man, how things could have been different. 7-3 lead over the Royals in the 8th inning of that wild card game, but obviously we all know what happened here. The A's won their 3rd. They went to the postseason for the 3rd straight season here. 7 straight losses, though, in those winner-take-all games. And they were great here early on. MLB best 66-41 through July 31st, but then the wheels fell back off. Back inside Studio 3 alongside Dan O'Donnell, John Smoltz, and also Sean Casey. I'm Fran Charles. And Smoltz, let me start with you. All right, for the A's looking ahead here at 2015, John Lester, obviously, he's going to be gone and going after the big money. So how does the rotation look?
I still think their rotation's fine. They got to find a way to build up those innings, keep guys healthy. They got a lot of young guys. I go back to that game, and I'm still mesmerized that they lost that game. They were suited and well suited to make a deep run with what they had done. Now, that loss obviously is a big loss because that was an elimination game. But you look at the guys they have left, Samardzija and Gray. I'm a big Sonny Gray fan. I think this guy has a chance to be something real special. But if they can get Parker and Griffin back in the mix, they can pitch their way in that ballpark and stay in games. They got to find some offense, but they've been able to do it in the market that they lived in. And, I think it's similar to when we lost a 2-0 lead against the Yankees. Who knows what the fate of our organization would have been if we won that? Who knows what the A's would have done had they won that playoff game and gone on and made that deep run, and then everything would have been fine with those moves. Right now, the moves don't look so good, but I still love their pitching.
You win with starting pitching in the big leagues, and when you talk about a 3-headed monster like Samardzija and Gray and Casimir, I mean, those guys are good. You're getting Parker back in the middle of the season at some point. I think that plays out. I mean, you got to do a couple other things, but I think you look at that rotation, it's pretty good.
And I think, you have Jesse Chavez and Drew Pomeranz, too, that pitched, very effective innings for them. They do have depth in that area. And they've got really an outstanding bullpen. They got a great closer in Doolittle. And they've got O'Flaherty now healthy and available for the whole season.
Dan, what about the middle of their infield here? Because you have Eric Sogard at second base, and they're probably going to lose Jed Lowry. He's a free agent. But Billy Beane always does such a great job of filling holes.
Well, in the short term, I think it is problematic. But long term, they've got a good-looking young shortstop in Daniel Robertson. He's having a great Arizona Fall League. He hit the AA level this year at the age of 20. And he's on a fast track. And, you know, Billy's not afraid to push his younger players to the big leagues. And this is one good-looking kid. And I think actually he's been overlooked somewhat. When they moved to Addison Russell, you know, the cupboard really wasn't that bare because this kid can step right in here, I think, at some point in time. If not next year, certainly the year after that. But, you know, with the progress he made this fall, you never know.
Let me ask you to keep your GM hat on here. You said in the long term they're in good shape. All right, you're running the A's here. In the short term, what do they do at shortstop?
Well, you know, right now it's a position of need in our game. There's not a ton of free agents on the market. So, you know, Billy is going to have to be creative. But, you know, he's got a great team there with David Forrest. And that is an organization that is really resourceful in trying to fill their holes and fill them a different way. They may choose to go with the platoon-type concept at shortstop until the young kid's ready to go.
Case, when the Lester trade went down and Cespedes went to the Red Sox, a lot of people said, it doesn't, that's great, still great for the A's, and they would have made that trade, even though we didn't see him being a chip there, that part of the trade here. But then their offense changed, and Cespedes' numbers weren't off the chart, but still, I mean, his presence was missed. And they need some pop in this line.
Well, I think that's the thing. When they lost Cespedes, they lost that presence. They lost a guy that was around. Brandon Moss made him better. Donaldson too. They need to go out and I think get a right-handed, a big bat in that lineup that they can plug right in there in the middle, maybe between Donaldson and Moss. Because you saw down the stretch, I mean, it wasn't so much the pitching as it was. They just could not score runs. They could not manufacture runs. They didn't have Moss struggle in the second half. They didn't have that one big bat like Cespedes that could get it done. I think that's a huge need this offseason.
Is a window closing on this team, John, potentially?
Well, it's closing from the standpoint of what they were and what they're going to be. They're still going to be a very good pitching team, but I think the dynamics of the power baseball and, you know, I know there was a theory they like a lot of guys that swing for the fences and hit fly balls and all that, but I think they're going to have to find different ways to score. They may have to be more like a National League team in the fact that they got to create runs because their pitching is going to keep them in a lot of games.
You know, I don't think the window is closed, not when you have that kind of starting rotation and the depth to it that they have. And it's a ballpark that's built for good pitching. And anytime you pitch well, you give your club a chance to win consistently.
I feel like Oakland's a team, too. We always have this conversation of, hey, are they going to be good? No, I know they're going to be okay.
Yeah, they always find
a way to get it done. It's unbelievable.
And the only problem is, if you think about it, the only problem is there's some teams in their division getting better. Right?
Yeah.
Texas didn't, but Seattle's gotten better. And, of course, Houston's going to get a little better. So that division, which they have been able to own, has gotten a lot better.
You know, you got to keep in perspective that market and that size, to win that division 2 years in a row, you can't discount the fact that that's quite an accomplishment.
Yep. And the other thing that I know you three gentlemen love here, they look like they're having so much fun when they're playing that clubhouse. They look like they enjoy playing together, and it rubs off, and it counts.